Hi.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. I'm Ariana.
Hi, I'm Amirah. Good to meet you.
Good to meet you too. So, how did you get into acting?
I've been acting since I was about 8 years old. There was this program that my mom had heard about through my gymnastics gym. She had heard about this program called Nikki Peterson Talent. And it's basically where she does a 9 month like workshop basically where we have different like casting directors come in with us and directors to work with us and stuff. And then we work for 9 months to put on a showcase in LA. And then that's where I found an agent and my manager. And then, yeah, everything's been up and running since then.
So, a lot of young actors tend to do children's shows, but you've done like a lot of like dramatic adult shows like Shameless and now High Potential. How did you go down that path and do that, or did that that's just how it happened?
I intentionally kind of stayed away from the children shows. I always loved doing very like dramatic kind of roles and intense roles. I always thought that was the most fun and the way I could showcase my acting the best. So yeah, it was kind of a personal choice to stay away from the Disney Nick child-like things and do more intense things, but I'm very grateful that I made that choice and I wouldn't change that for the world.
Yeah. Would you say it's been a bit more difficult because there's only so many roles within the more adult shows?
Yeah, it's definitely been a lot harder. I think I've missed out on a lot of roles, but I prepared myself for that and had meetings with my team about it. Like, I know I'm not gonna, book this role or book this role, but when the right role comes, I'll be ready and prepared for that.
Yeah. So what did playing Ava mean? Be the how did you feel that was the right role for you?
I loved her storyline, honestly, her finding her footing in her family and, figuring out what has happened to her biological dad and kind of how that struggle has impacted her life and her relationship with her mom. I thought it's very different from my personal life, so I thought it would be very fun to kind of play this spunky teenage girl, but who also has a lot of, vulnerability to her.
Yeah. How would you say you relate to Ava and how are you different? There's a lot of ways I feel like you're probably very obviously different, but how are you guys are alike and similar?
I mean, we're definitely alike being that, we're both teenage girls. We can have our, bratty diva moments at times, I will say. But we're very different in kind of the ways that we grew up. I definitely personally grew up in a very different way than Ava has grown up with her, her younger siblings and her relationship with her mom and her stepdad and questioning where her actual dad is and all these things is something that I personally can't relate to, but I think is very fun to step into because I know that a lot of young girls out there can relate to that situation.
Yes. Do you think Ava wishes she had a brain like her mom and Elliot, or does she like that she doesn't? Because I feel like there is a lot of challenges with kind of having this high potential brain.
I think she kind of wants a way to relate to her mom. I don't think it's necessarily that she wants that specifically. I just think she wants something that connects her to her mom in the way that her younger brother connects to her mom, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I feel like in the first episode when she is saying, "Oh, they have everything," it was a lot. It's just like, "Oh, they have a dad.
Hmm.
They also are white like you. I'm
Yeah,
a
yeah.
person of color as well." Like it was a lot of weight in that scene that I think that Morgan picked up on and was just like, "Well, I can't give you all of these things, but maybe I could find your dad."
Yeah.
But speaking of Roman, what is kind of the best and worst case scenario? Because best case, if he's alive, then he's been gone for 15 years
Mhm.
and could have come back. Like, what to you as a mirror? Like, what's the best case scenario and what's the worst case scenario?
I feel like best case scenario is he's alive, he's out there somewhere, comes back somehow, they find him. Worst case scenario would be that he's not alive. That would be very unfortunate. Um, I'm just excited to see where that storyline goes now that we know that we've got a season two. Um, the storyline can be expanded more and we can find out a lot more, which I think will be really exciting for not only the fans, but for also the cast to like see like, ooh, like where's the story going, you know?
Yeah. What was your reaction when you found out that you had a season two?
I was so excited. I was around my house jumping up and down like a crazy person. I was like calling my family, calling my best friends, like, guess what? We got a season two. I was so excited about it.
Yes, that's like that is not guaranteed these days, so that's
It's
super
not. It is
exciting.
not.
So Ava wins a yes day, which turns south. We can talk a bit more about that. But if you had a yes day, what would your yes day involve?
My yes day. Honestly, probably, I feel like my ideal yes day would be like a rest day where I would just get to relax and rest and take time to myself. Maybe like get my nails done, have like a pamper rest day. Sounds like a perfect day to me.
Yeah. So on Ava's yes day that turns south, she stays within the building instead of leaving. She could have completely left.
Mhm.
Um would you have left or would you have stayed if your parents were still in the building?
That's a very hard to say. Honestly, I think it's relatable because I would have a very hard time leaving my mom if I was in that situation. So I understand Ava's decision in that sense of like, her mom's in there. She doesn't know if her mom's okay. She's worried about that and she's worried about her mom's safety. So I honestly I'd probably make some of the same decisions.
How would you describe Ava's relationship with Ludo? Like, that's her stepdad, but he's been around for a while. Like, Ellie and Ava aren't that far apart in age. And he actually trusts her more than Morgan does. But how would you describe their relationship?
I love their relationship. I think we've gotten to see their relationship grow throughout the season. And I think Ava's starting to accept him into her life more as the role of her father figure, which I think is really important for her. And having that guiding role, I think is very great for Ava.
Yes. Why do you think Morgan is so distrusting of Ava when she's, to me, pretty innocent for a 15-year-old? Like, she's excited about this Urban Outfitters share. Like, she's pretty chill. Like, why is she so distrusting of her?
I think that Morgan kind of knows all that Ava has been through and that she kind of tries to hide her vulnerability and emotional side. And I think Morgan just doesn't want to make a mistake that'll kind of push her daughter further away from her.
Yeah. I would love to see flashbacks of Morgan because I feel like teenage Morgan was probably a lot.
Me too. I feel like teenage Morgan was a rebellious gal. I would love to see that.
So what's up with Ava and Ryder? We've seen him a couple times and we know that he drives, which I even can be like, oh, that's a little weird. Even though she's 15, he could be like 16 or whatever.
Yeah.
But should we as viewers take this relationship seriously or is this just like, oh, this is a boy. They're just teenagers. It's not that big of a deal.
I honestly think it's just a boy and they're just teenagers. It's not that big of a deal. But I think it is important because it's like, teenagers. That's an important kind of story to tell. It's like every teenager's life, it happens at one point or another. So I think it's good to kind of tell that story.
Yeah, yeah. But I don't think we should be as worried as Morgan is, especially she put her phone up to play with her little brother. Like she's still
Yeah.
present.
She figured it out at some point. Ava will be just fine.
Yes. But speaking of relationships, do you think there potentially could be something going on with Morgan and Karadec?
Me as a fan, like personally as Amirah, I love the Morgan Karadec relationship that they have going on this season. Ava hasn't really gotten a lot of chances to spend time with Karadec in the show, but I kind of love their partnership relationship that's like growing throughout the season. I think it's like an amazing storyline.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a slow burn, but how both their minds work and how they're both really into work, I'm like, oh, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you think things are done between Ludo and Morgan though?
I think so. I think that it's a really good story to tell of these two adults who can co-parent and work it out for the sake of their kids, and I have a good relationship balance for their children. Yeah, but I don't think Morgan and Ludo are going to be happening again.
Yes. Have you had a favorite episode so far this season?
My favorite episode was definitely episode 7 when I was in the precinct. That was so fun for me to, step outside of the home life and get to work with some of my other castmates and be in this new environment. And those like intense scenes and episodes are like my favorite to film. So that was fun. And I love the finale. I love the last episode. I think it's really fun, and we've got some clues about things in there. Yeah, I think it's a great episode that I think a lot of people will love.
When you read the script, do you try to figure out who the murderer is? Like, do you try to work that out in your brain, or do you?
Yeah, I will. When I read it, I'm like trying to like connect the dots, and even like watching the episodes back, sometimes I don't remember what happens, or the episodes that I'm not in, I have no idea what's going on. So I like sit there and I'm like watching my TV and I'm like, "Ooh, wait, like what happened here?" Like trying to connect the dots. I think it's so fun.
Yeah, because sometimes it's just like, oh, they're at Ludo's this weekend. I'm like, wait, where's Ava? Yes. Ava has such an eclectic sense of style, which I think is super cool. What has been some of your favorite Ava outfits?
Ooh. Um, One of my favorites was from episode 3, I believe. It was this pink top, and she had these like really cute jeans that she was wearing. Loved that. I loved episode 10, her little dress with her jacket that she was wearing at the park with her brother. I thought that outfit was really cute. Yeah. She has a lot of really cute outfits when they all kind of mismatch when you put them together. They're nice.
Yeah. What do you do during your downtime on set?
During downtime on set, I'm usually having to do school.
Okay.
So doing that or probably like drinking a coffee and taking a nap in my trailer. I'm not gonna lie. Anytime I can find a chance to take a nap, I'm sleeping.
Yeah. So you're so fortunate to be able to work with actors who have done drama and comedy like Kaitlin and Judy. Is that something you're also interested in doing?
Yeah, I think definitely I'm learning so much from working with them, and not only their like dramatic side but also like the comedic timing, and it's honestly a master class being able to work with these incredible actors. And it's definitely something that I'm super excited to take into the rest of my career.
Yeah. Speaking of the rest of your career, which is basically 99% of your career, if you really think about it, what is kind of within like the next 5 years, what are some of your like dream projects?
I would love to do a movie. I would love to star in a film. I think that would be really, really incredible. I've always dreamed about being Wonder Woman, playing Wonder Woman in a film. I think would be really cool and really awesome. Um, yeah, and then hopefully more seasons of High Potential. Fingers crossed. That would be amazing as well. And carrying out these storylines would be so cool.
Yeah, it would also be cool to see you and Ava continue to grow up together because you guys are maybe like a year or so apart.
Right? Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah. Why did you decide to go by Amirah J and drop part of your last name?
Honestly, I feel like it kind of differentiates like my work life and my personal life, if that makes sense. Like I feel like it kind of separates the two. Like Amirah J is like, acting, work, and Amirah Johnson is very like my home, my school, my like personal life. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice to have kind of that balance and
Yeah.
yeah, you can still do your own thing. Do you still do gymnastics?
I stopped doing gymnastics, but I am a cheerleader. So I kind of carried into that realm of things. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, so you still have your flexibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, what are should if you were to describe the season finale in one sentence, what would it be?
Ooh. Definitely a roller coaster with some cliffhangers.
Okay. Okay, it's but definitely worth watching.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Awesome. Well,
yeah.
thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. I can't wait to talk to you next season and for future projects.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, no problem. I'll talk to you soon and you enjoy your break.
Thank you. Bye. It was great
Okay.
meeting you.
Awesome. Thank you. Bye.